Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope everyone's doing well. Got a couple plays today for college football. I'm releasing it early because they're 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time games, which means Vegas time. They're going off at 9 a.m. Um, Saturday is always a very early morning in Vegas. Everyone gets rocking and rolling really early. Same with Sunday, but especially Saturday in college football season. Everyone's nursing those hangovers and everyone's grumpy, so steer clear of people. but um, yeah, guys, we took a loss yesterday. It was unfortunate. Ottawa was terrible. Ottawa was atrocious. They got dominated by a team with one win this year. As I always do, I went back over my pick and over my notes to, see where did we go wrong with this one, and I still like the pick. As a matter of fact, I love the pick still of Ottawa. But the one thing that's kind of nagging again and again in my head that I'm thinking about is we went in and we faced a team who hadn't won at home all year. They only have one win on the season. Yes, Ottawa had a few injuries here and there, but should they have been a 5.5 point favorite? Did Vegas beat me last night? I think so. I think Vegas beat me last night, guys. It happens. That's the reality of sports betting. I'm being honest. I sit here and tell you guys that I'm right every single time, but that's not true, as you guys saw last night. That's the thing that keeps, I'm going over. I'm stuck on that. I think, at -5.5, um, I think Vegas wanted us on that side, guys. But anyways, onward and upward. It is what it is. And, the most important thing is after taking a loss like that, we learn from it. We're going to keep a very close eye on that stuff. We're always learning. I mean, you have to be in this industry. And the reality is when you get to be like super pro, when you're the absolute best in the world and you stop learning, you will start to lose because this is constantly evolving. And I'm sorry to say that, people that have a system, they say, oh, this is the perfect system. That has to be constantly updated and constantly tweaked because if you're not paying attention to that, you'll eventually lose. Like, I have systems in my database. I keep looking at my computer because up here I got my database here, but I have systems in my database that worked for almost 10 years, like consistently. I was hitting consistent above 60% on these specific models. And over the past 2 or 3 years, some of them have gone to losses and some have, lowered down 53, 54%, profitable, but barely. So if you're not constantly tweaking and trying to understand what's changing in the game, then you're going to get left behind. So it's really important, guys. I said this before, whether you're just, if you're just betting recreationally, well, I don't know. It's probably not the channel for you. But I mean, if you're serious about getting better at this, guys, you really do have to invest the time to understand why you lose and also understand, what you did right. You want to give yourself a pat on the back every once in a while. So, one more thing before I dive into the play, guys. If you haven't seen, I know we keep adding a lot of subscribers, and thank you guys very much for that. Like, blown away. The feedback from you guys has been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. The one thing that weighs on me a little bit, guys, is I've been doing this a long time. I've had unbelievable winning streaks, and I've had some devastating losing streaks. But the one thing that kept me where I am and kept me going is my bankroll management. And that's why I continue to preach the bankroll management aspect. If you guys haven't seen my video on bankroll management, please take a few minutes to watch it. But I mean, the basics of it, guys, I shouldn't have people messaging me after we have one day where we went 1-2 and a day where we went 0-1. I shouldn't have people messaging me saying, most of their accounts gone. And why would you put most of your account on some guy you just found on YouTube? I don't know, guys. Bankroll management, please, 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 okay? I want to see you guys have fun with this. I want to make you guys money. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do here. Like, I don't charge for this. Like, I'm trying to help you guys out. But it really upsets me when I get people messaging me, I got thick skin. I don't care what you say. I'm perfectly fine with that, guys. But it upsets me if you're losing your hard-earned money, because you're not doing this right. Okay, so if you're gonna follow my picks and you're gonna do this, my number one hope is that you're on here trying to learn, not just taking free picks to play. But it's very important, guys. Bankroll management. Okay, if you're a recreational bettor, no more than 5% of your bankroll, and I mean that's pushing it. That's someone who's going to continue to, potentially put money in. If you're taking this serious, guys, if this is like something you're going to rely on, professional bettors, 1%, 1.5%, that's it. Okay, and you don't deviate from that. If you're on a hot streak, it doesn't mean it goes up, as a percentage. If you're on a bad losing streak, same thing, guys. So just please watch the video on bankroll management. That's it. I'm going to get into the picks now. Sorry for the 5-minute lecture. Okay, so we got 2 college football plays today, guys. The first one is a little tricky, just because I think I'm going to ask you guys to do a little bit of legwork here. But I made this pick. So I have Eastern Michigan is plus 7.5. Before I could release it, the line moved to 7. But at a lot of the sports books, so I got it at 7.5. And one of my sports books now has it listed at 7. The other one's 7.5. So here's what I'm going to ask of you guys. Eastern Michigan, we want that play at 7.5. If you can't get it at your book, there are a couple of places still in Vegas that are showing it as well at 7.5. So you might have to do a bit of legwork if you're in town. If you're betting online, hopefully you can get it at 7.5. If you can't get it at 7.5, I like this play, guys. So here's what we'll do if you can't get it at 7.5. Hopefully you can. Is we'll take half our bet at plus 7 and half our bet at plus 7.5 up to minus 130. So you buy the hook up to minus 130, nothing above minus 130. If you're in the situation where you can't get the 7.5 for minus 130 or better, just play half your bet on the 7. Okay, so don't chase higher juice than that. Okay, so I want to tell you guys about this game. We have it all. We have steam moves, we have contrarian play, we reverse line moves, all of it. I really like this play, guys. So first off, you have 63% bet against of total bets bet against Eastern Michigan, but only 38% of the money. So there's a lot of money, a lot of sharp money on Eastern Michigan, and again, that's why we start to see a line move. But we're looking at a situation here, guys, and this is from one of my databases. When you have such a spread like that, so 63% of bets going against them, but only 38% of the money. That's basically like 25 points that separate that. When you have a number that's 20 or higher, those bets come in 64% of the time. Now, when the team's coming off a loss, such as we are, that number gets pumped up to 69%. And that's on a good enough sample size that I would call that to be reliable. Those are obviously good numbers. So the other thing we have to look at is, first off, just talking about this, it's a contrarian play, okay? We're going against the public. We love going against the public. We don't want to be the public because we know what happens to the public. So it's contrarian play. We got steam action on our side. We got the sharps. We got the guys we want to be betting with us. That's good. And we have a reverse line movement. So all three things, guys, that's something to get excited about. I like the game, but bankroll management. Seriously, okay? There's no such thing as a sure thing in sports, guys. It's a long-term game. So anyways, I'm not getting back into a rant. Bankroll management, like that game. Next game, guys. We have Miami, Ohio. So Miami, Ohio at plus 17.5. Again, a little bit of a contrarian play. 42% of the bets and 34% of the money. Again, when you have that spread, In this case, we're talking about 8. So it's not as much of an advantage as when you have that 20-point plus difference like we had in the Eastern Michigan game, where I said there was that 25% difference between the percentage of bets and the money bet. You're not getting as good an advantage, but in this particular case, we're still getting in the 61 to 62% range, which we're okay with that. With models like that have large sample sizes and they're above 60%, there gives us room for variance, okay? And by variance, I mean, as I said before, guys, you can have models that go back, 10 years and things change. And I'm constantly tweaking them, like hours a week, tweaking these to make sure that they're good. But, we want to make sure that it's relevant, that the numbers are still tracking consistent. We want our bets to perform the same way they are this year as they did in, 2011. But when we're hitting above 60%, like, 61, 62%, that gives us a bit of leeway for variance, which, again, just reinforces that we have confidence in those models. So Eastern Michigan, guys, plus 7.5. Again, if you can't get 7 at your book, it's unfortunate. But anyways, if you can't get 7 at your book, or 7.5 at your book, guys, you can go half and half your bet at plus 7, half your bet at plus 7.5 up to minus 130. Again, guys, if you can't get minus 130 or it's higher, you're just going to play half what you would normally play. So if you're a 2% better, just bet 1% of your bankroll in this game, and just bet that on the plus 7. And the second game, guys, Miami, Ohio, plus 17.5. Both these games go at noon. So that's 9 a.m. on the West Coast, but noon. I'm posting this at 12 Vegas time, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope it gets to you guys in time. And that's it, guys. It's potential, like there's a ton of games. There's a lot more value. I just wanted to kind of give these games to you because the way we're approaching them is different than ways we've approached other games in terms of just helping you guys understand the value of, obviously, contrarian play, steam play, reverse money or reverse line movement, as well as understanding how that the percentage of bets versus the money bet on teams can affect the win rate and how Vegas sets the lines. So that's it, guys. That's the 2 games. There are a lot of games in the afternoon and evening. I'm still poring over those. I typically don't bet those until, again, closer to game time, because every little bit of information helps. And I mean, nothing earth-shattering, and to be honest, by the time stuff becomes public, Vegas moves on it faster than 98% of bettors could ever get action in. But I just feel more comfortable with it. I like seeing the percentages with these early games. I think a lot of people, especially in Vegas, they've put their money in. They're off to bed. Some of them will watch it, some of them won't. But we can drive good things from these numbers. The afternoon games and evening games tomorrow, still going to wait on that a little bit just to see. College football is one of those things where, baseball, I could put picks in the night before and have a relative confidence of numbers. But college games, especially smaller schools, those numbers bounce around like crazy. I mean, you could have 80% of money on one team and have 3 steam plays come in on a small school. Like Grambling gets 3 steam plays come in, and all of a sudden they have 70% of the money, and you're like, whoa, what happened? But I might put a pick out tomorrow afternoon, or sometime around there for an afternoon or evening game. I haven't decided yet, guys. But just so you're notified, subscribe and push the little bell. Then you get notifications and alerts whenever I post a video. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps. Really appreciate all your support, guys. We're growing really fast, and I really, really appreciate the support. So as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free. Otherwise, guys, have a lucky day.